Hollywood Works here, coming to you once again with One Piece, chapter 1131, entitled Loki of the Underworld. I think One Piece is in prime condition this chapter. I think ELBAPH is going to make up for all the lulls of Egghead. I think this is immaculate chapter. We are so back, boys. I can't tell you how much we are back. Oh, I'm excited. Woo! I'm excited. There is a fire that has been lit in me that I have not seen since Whole Cake Island. Whoa! Because everything is here yet again, but we'll get into it. But to start us off, we have the 18th volume of Yamato's cover story, in which Yamato, Komichio, Speed, which is nice to see Speed, and Otama are rushing after the person who stole Yasue's katana. Now, once again, the dog jokes continue, because now we have a dog mounting another dog as they're chasing after the assailant. So that's funny. That came out wrong too. Didn't mean it like that. I mean riding as an actual riding mount, not the other way. Oh no. Oh no, we're in the mud already. No. But seriously. I'm glad to see Speed, otherwise known as Porcella, again. Isn't it weird that she just named her mother? Because Otama sees Speed as a mother and she just named her mother Porcella. Does anyone else find that odd? Oh no. Her dough fruit's kind of dangerous. I don't know about that, brother. Ooh wee. That's a bad fit. Anyway, Speed is in her Wano garb now. So she got a little bit of a design change, which is pretty cute. I like that she kept her little goggles though. So yeah, they're running after the person who stole Yasue's katana, and we'll see more in volume 19. But I do think this is putting her more on the map, Yamato, to become a Straw Hat, because this reminds me of Jinbei's long cover story. However, this one is interesting because it's right after the arc we just left a little while ago, whereas Jinbei was just sort of like bumbling around. So, take that for what you'll take it for. But yeah, I think this has more precedent over that one. And I think the results will be more immediate, because even after the cover story, we had that big gap of Whole Cake Island and then the majority of Wano up until the Onigashima section started, right? And that's when Jinbei actually joined the crew. So yeah, I think this will be more of an immediate turnaround, especially seeing as how we're in ELBAPH, Yamato's an Oni. It's been suggested slightly that Onis could have something to do with ancient giants, whom are giants, and we are in the country of giants. So most likely ancient giants are probably going to come up here in some way, shape, or form. But continuing on with the chapter, Luffy is excited that he's finally reached ELBAPH, and he is ignoring Loki as he is exclaiming how cool it is. And then Loki interrupts him and says, "Quiet you! I am Loki, the sun deity, the man of this land, whose centuries of tales foretell of. Don't open your mouth without permission, human." Loki is so cool. For no reason. But I do like we enter the chapter with him being ignored by Luffy. That's very good. And then we get a little Oda box for Loki. Loki, with his name romanized. Accursed Prince of ELBAPH. Loki. The world government special bounty, which a special bounty, what does that mean? I don't know what special bounty means. Is it that they're putting a bounty on his head as long as he stays in ELBAPH, but if he ever comes out of the country of ELBAPH, that bounty goes into effect? Maybe. I guess that bounty is a precaution of some sort. I'm not sure. But it's 2.6 billion berries. Woo, lad. That's big. 2.6 billion. So that's bigger than Brocky and Dory, who are both 1.8 billion. Man. Jeez. Thinking about that's crazy. Because that's up there, actually. That's higher than any first commander of any Yonko crew so far. Wow. I mean, well, other than Mihawk, if we're counting him as one. But yeah, wow, that's impressive. That's pretty cool. So yeah, 2.6 billion berries. Goodness. Okay. And then he goes and asking, why do you think I'm locked up? And apparently he's been locked up for 6 years, which 6 is one of those Luffy numbers. 5 and 6. Go Moo. But okay, he proclaims himself as the most powerful being in ELBAPH. And this is where we find out that the tree that's in the country of ELBAPH, the country of war, as Luffy explains to us, is the Atom Treasure Tree. So what the Sunny is made out of came from this tree. So that means there are some black market dealings on ELBAPH, because somehow, some way, people managed to sneak bark from this tree out of the country to sell it on the black market. So that's very interesting that, well, the Sunny is at the origin of his birthplace, you might as well say. That's cool. And we also find that the chains that bound Loki to said tree are made of sea stone, which weaken him and of course cut off his Devil Fruit abilities. And that is when Loki says, I need to ask you something, Lobby. And Luffy corrects him, saying it's Luffy. Is this the first time that someone does to Luffy what he constantly does to other people? Because it was a bit, a gag, like he did with Bonnie, called her Boogie or something, or Booger, that he would get people's names wrong. So is this the first time someone does that to him? Other times people don't call him Luffy, they'll call him Straw Hat or Lucy, but they're doing it in earnest and not to mock him. This seems like mockery. So that is interesting. That's cool. I don't think that's ever happened before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's ever happened before. But yeah, continuing. Loki wants Luffy to unlock him and set him free, and in exchange, he'll wipe out any pirate crew that he wishes. And I like low-key believe low-key. That was unintentional. But no, I think he could actually do that. With a 2.6 billion berry bounty, yeah, he could do that. But continuing, he says the key to his chains should be somewhere in the village, which will probably be a point of the B-plots story, I'm guessing. But we'll have to see. And this is where we find that the place that Loki is locked up is called the Underworld, or the Realm of the Dead, which is the lower level of ELBAPH. And he says only criminals are sent here, and it serves both as a prison and an execution ground. By calling it a prison, you know what this reminds me of? The freezing hell of Impel Down. And it kind of goes back to Brook because he has cryokinetic powers, ice powers, and those are said to come from the underworld. So the underworld is synonymous with hell, but it's also synonymous with freezing cold. So that sets up some very interesting parallels. So one, Brook is not lying, apparently, given all the parallels that we've seen in the story so far. And two, Impel Down's freezing hell could have been modeled off of this level of ELBAPH. Because two, we have these big evergreen trees, it's constantly snowing, and then a little later we see that there is a giant wolf. So yeah, wolves are inhabiting the area. He goes on to say that you'll find a ton of bones of giants and humans here. And according to the mythology of ELBAPH, this place is known as the primordial world, or the first world, perhaps a strong world, you might say. And we see a lot of giant animals here, which reminds Luffy of his time back during training. Because these two are Loki's friends, like the giant animals of Luffy's training island were his friends. You even get a very similar set here. You've got I think there was a gorilla back on that island as well, but you have a gorilla here, a giant snake, a woolly mammoth, which I think this is the first time that we're seeing a real woolly mammoth in One Piece. That's not Devil Fruit related, because of course Jack of the Beast Pirates has the elephant model mammoth, right? Which is an ancient Zoan. But yeah, this being the primordial world, it kind of makes sense that you're seeing sort of like old school animals here. And later on, we get another little treat, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, you got a polar bear, you have a big gorilla, you have a giant snake, and a woolly mammoth. So that's pretty neat, pretty neat. And we are now introduced to Loki's cronies, who call them stinky, shabbily. corpses. He calls his boys stinky, shambling corpses. And they're like, boss, come on now, that's harsh. This is funny. This is so funny without any intent of it being funny. And they look like normal humans. So apparently, just from Luffy being around these guys, he's automatically tamed all of them. And I love that the bear looks like he's offering him a little pot of honey. This is great. I told you this was peak One Piece. He tamed all the beasts immediately. And that's where Loki exclaims, wait a second, who's this little guy? Because he's like shocked that this small pirate was able to tame all these beasts who were Loki's sworn friends so immediately. This is great and it's very cute. I like it a lot. I like this wolf because the wolf has a tattered mane. And I wonder if this wolf is a relative of the wolves that you find in the Freezing Hell because they have a similar shape. But the wolf has a mane very similar of animals that you find in Wano. So I don't know. And it's the only one with a scar of some sort, which is also interesting. They have a lot of character to these animals, I gotta say. But yeah, continuing. Loki mentions Shanks, and he calls Shanks a coward, which, if you know my agenda, I think Shanks is a big fan. So this is unbelievably cool for Loki to say this to me. This is so cool, bro. Oh, Loki Bent's character. Yo, Luffy gets mad immediately and goes into a Gear 4th bound man. Now, what's so interesting about him revving up for a Kong gun or a King Kong gun or whatever this attack is that this is the most complete looking Gear 4th we've seen since entering ELBAPH. Though I don't think this is a complete Gear 4th. Because from the shot, even though it's kind of hard to see, it looks like it's just his upper body. Because you see his little legs swinging. So I don't think, even though Gear 4th Bound Man is very top heavy, something tells me, especially with it wearing shoes, which may or may not be a point, because I think he's worn shoes before, like in Egghead. But I think this is still on the same path that we've been seeing the entirety of ELBAPH, that he just compartmentalizes Gear 4th now. And as I've been saying in many videos, he has cannibalized it into the base set. So it's only affecting his upper body, though it is the most complete variant that we've seen so far. We even see the cloud sash that Gear 4th Bound Man and the rest of the variants of Gear 4th are known for having. However, yeah, I think this is just going into his upper body. It's not a full Gear 4th. And what also makes me think this too is that after he strikes and Loki gets shook and says, whoa, that was just a joke, which is very funny within itself. We see a de-escalation of Gear 4th, which I think this is a manga first. I don't actually think we've ever seen a full, like, frame by frame, in a way, de-escalation of Gear 4th. He either goes into it and then cancels it, or goes into it and is canceled out of it due to exhaustion. But he never, like, cancels it himself in this way where we see an actual deflation of Gear 4th. So that's what makes me think he didn't go into it fully and he has complete and utter control over it, and it's still being cannibalized by the base set because of the fact that his fist is still hockey up as he's deflating himself. We've never seen that before. And his eyes still have the hockey rings around them too. We've never seen this in-between state. Never. I don't recall ever seeing it. Ever, never, ever. So that in itself is extremely interesting and never before seen. But by that show of strength, he's got Loki's animal friend shook. You see the wolf sweating. You see the polar bear sweating. The mammoth is shook. Big open eyes. I love it. This is so much character on the page, bruh. Yes. Oh, I'm elated. But anyway, Luffy just warns him, don't say things like that, not even as a joke. And then he goes on to say, I can't move, you moron. I'm going to kill that jerk as soon as I'm out of these chains. If you can't move, don't piss me off, Luffy retorts. The next time you say something like that, I'll smash you into this tree. And the wolf is so shook. And I think this is Loki who says, cut out, you idiot. Anyway, Why did Shanks come here? Why did he come to see you? Did he have some business here? Is he still here in ELBAPH? And Luffy's asking all these questions. And then Loki, after the trickster, says, of course I'm not telling you for free. Why is this so cool? And I have to mention too, even though his helmet does look like Brogy's helmet, it kind of looks like a steel straw hat. So I wonder, are we in a Katakuri-like situation in which we're getting another character who's a bit of a mirror to Luffy himself? I wonder. I really do wonder. Because Katakuri was kind of a smart, tactical Luffy too, but he had his vices, which I'm willing to bet Loki has his vices as well. This is a fascinating character. Fascinating. But then we go to the rest of Team A, and they're running across the bridge, in which the bridge is shaking as Road is running down the bridge as he is on fire due to Zeus's thunderbolt. Road is a constant stream of entertainment. I love it. Also, we see Chopper being ridden by Nami in Walk Point. I can't tell you how rare this is, because he's never ever in Walk Point, and it's very rare that anyone is using him as a proper mount, let alone Nami, because I think this only happens back in Water 7, when I think Iceberg's mansion was on fire or something. So it's a really rare occasion is what I'm getting to. So this is cool, very cool. And yeah, so we see that Goldberg, Gerd, and Gerd's funny owl are chasing after Road, while Goldberg has the Straw Hat ship, the Going Sunny, or the Thousand Sunny, I should say, in hand. Now, interesting bit about this one. Giants are humongous because Goldberg is holding up the Sunny as if it were a toy. That's incredible. That's incredible. Considering how big the Sunny is, that's incredible. I keep forgetting the size difference between a giant and the Sunny. Incredible, insane, the scale. And also, the owl is about half the size of the Sunny, which is also something to note because that in itself is incredible. Lastly, the shield on Goldberg's back seems to be asleep. So I was right in saying that the shield is a living object. We don't know if it's a homie or a Zoan. It could be either. But I was right, bruh. I was right. I knew it was a living thing. Way back when we got the whole interlude about the new giant warrior pirates in that cover story, I knew that the shield was alive. I knew it. I've done videos on it. So now we get confirmation that yes, by it sleeping, it's alive in some manner. Don't know if it's a homie or a Zoan. Could be a Zoan. I'm leaning more towards Zoan, and I think I've said this before, because Road has its cat, and its cat is a house cat with a lion Zoan fruit, which that will probably come out in the next SBS. Whichever SBS that incorporates the last few chapters. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Or the next Vivicard set, because that could also uncover ELBAPH characters. Though we may have to wait a little while for that, since we just got a Vivicard drop after another Vivicard drop. So I don't think there's going to be another Vivicard drop in the near future. But yeah, whenever that happens and whenever the SBS happens, we're probably going to get a breakdown on what's up with that cat. So based on Road having that cat and him being in the same crew as Goldberg and seeing how Gerd also has a funny little animal companion, it's very likely that they're all Zoans. Because I could believe too that the owl is a Zoan. Though it could be a normal owl, but it's likely that that too could be a Zoan. Maybe the owl is a hospital bag of some sort, a doctor's bag, because we know that Gerd is the doctor of the new giant warrior pirates. So maybe, yeah, the owl is some sort of Zoan object thing as well. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm putting a bet on that. So with that being said, I wonder if the last two members, Haruden and Streisand, I think his name is, we'll get to him in a second, but I wonder if they have funny little animal buddies too. We have to wait and see. But yeah, that's when Usopp says when Zoro's about to cut them all down that they may be friends Brogy and Dory, but he refers to them as the Masters. And then they're going full speed ahead to the ELBAPH village, passing the new giant warrior pirates, thinking that the people who are essentially of the same group as them are enemies because no one knows each other yet. Because, yeah, this mostly was a part, except for Zoro, but Zoro doesn't remember anything. So, yeah, they've never met them before. The only person who has met Haruden is Zoro, and Haruden is not here because he was at the toast, right? I remember that. He was at the toast, and Usopp knows him too, that's right. Usopp and Zoro know Haruden, but they don't know the rest of the crew because they never met them before. So it makes sense they would perceive them as possible enemies. Speaking of the boy, we have Haruden and Stanson. Excuse me, I said his name was Streisand. It's Stanson. We have the captain, Haruden, and the shipwright Stanson, and they have taken out a huge dinosaur. Now, this dinosaur, correct me if I'm wrong, it's making its first canonical appearance because this is not its first time in the franchise. This was a dinosaur from the movie Strong World. It's called an Ethosaurus from looking it up, actually. And there were concept arts for it from Strong World. And I believe it's Zoro and Usopp that encounter this thing. It's a big blue dinosaur with reindeer antlers. And it has a big mane, much like the thing we're seeing here. So yes, the Ethosaurus from Strong World is canon for real, for real. Fascinating. And it's mistaken for a moose. I don't know if that's a mistranslation or not. That's incredible, though. But to interject, there are some more animals from the movie Strong World and its concept art that are actually becoming canonical animals in the series in this chapter, because the wolf that was hanging around with Loki is called a kill rabby, which is a wolf rabbit that appears in concept art for Strong World. Next, that giant gorilla is Del Kong, and we have concept art for it from Strong World, and it actually appears in a movie in Strong World. Both of these guys also appear in Snow, so that too is very interesting. Continuing on, actually, the mammoth is from Strong World as well, and he actually makes a canonical appearance also in Snow, but he is called Mammoth Des, and we have concept art for him as well, and he's being ridden by Chopper. So that too, very cool, very excellent. Now, when we get to the polar bear, I am not sure. I'm really not sure. However, there is a bear called Terraguma, and from the concept art, it looks like there could be a polar bear variant. I'm not sure, because in the movie, it looks like more like a take on a Japanese black bear. It's got these big long arms. It looks like it has actual hands, which makes sense because the bear that we see in chapter 1131 is holding a small pot of honey. So its arms are emphasized, and it does look like it has claw hands. So yeah, this could be a polar bear giant version of the Terraguma. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially seeing as how if these concept arts hold up and the less detailed ones are, say, a polar bear variant. I don't know, because we have a striped variant of the one that we see in the movie. Then we have almost like a zebra-esque version from the concept art. So not too sure, but then we have concepts of the bear in which he has no patterns at all, which looks most like the bear that we see in 1131. So yeah, I don't know. I think too, though, that has to be from, for all intents and purposes, Terraguma. Now, the only one that has no movie appearances, as far as I know, is the snake in the back. He seems to be completely original to ELBAPH, as far as I know. But yeah, a lot of Strong World references in this one chapter, and there are more to come. But let's continue. Apparently, this is native to only this part of ELBAPH, so they seem to be in the same place as Loki is, the underworld. So it's interesting because, yeah, it's Haruden who says, after all, they don't have these up in the forest above. So I wonder if the Ethosaurus is native to ELBAPH, or did it fall off of like Shiki's territory? I don't know. But yeah, we also meet this thing in a cold place in Strong World. So yeah, no, it's pretty on brand for what it is and what it's supposed to be, which is pretty fascinating. I'm interested to see how far this is going to go in the future thinking about it, because man, only a fat lion and that weird giraffe thing were canon because they appeared in chapter 0. So yeah, now we got another Strong World animal canonical to One Piece. I don't know, bruh. Strong World on top, still the most canonical movie in the One Piece franchise. So I'm impressed. I don't know what to say. I'm impressed. But yeah, we get a breakdown of the new Giant Warrior Pirates, and the Stanson and Harugen are singing, "We are the new pirates, the giant warriors of ELBAPH," as they're carrying off the Ethosaurus, thinking that it will make great meat for the Straw Hat crew, as they know they are arriving to ELBAPH because originally they were going to go save them, but Broggy and Dory have seniority, so they went to go save them instead, so they know they're coming. So yeah, breaking it down, they are a generation after Broggy and Dory, and they go as follows: Haruden as the captain, Goldberg, the big guy with the shield, as the cook, Gur, Big Mom's childhood friend, is the doctor, Stanson, the giant 2 years ago who was in the Saboti Archipelago auction house with Rayleigh, is the shipwright, and the former sun deity and the the owner of Iscat, Road, as the navigator. And that's when we get a little breakdown of Luffy's relationship with Harugen and the whole bit that happened in Dressrosa. ELBAPH coastal waters. We return to the ship of Broggy and Dory, and we have now regained Robin's bangs, bro. We're so in! Oda has realized the truth that Robin's at her best with bangs, baby! Yes, sir! Also, I find it very touching that she entrusted Brooke to cut her hair. That's very cute. That's very adorable. That is the character building that I'm here for. That is off of the back of the Black Maria fight when they became closer with one another based off their past trauma. Immaculate. This is the character writing I want. I am elated. I am enthralled with joy. This is great. This is fantastic. Also, the sea beast that's riding along the ship is incredibly long. What is that? There has to be some sort of sea king, but it is huge. You know what? Wait, that's from Strong World 2. Oh my God, no! That's from Strong World. That's the thing that got eaten up by the ants. Yeah. This was in the scene, I think it was the opening scene of Strong World, in which it attacked Frankie, Robin, and Brooke, but was eaten by the ants called the Guntayari, and it's called a Bakuzam, or a chomp shark, which is very, very cool because this scene also depicts a team in which Brooke, Frankie, and Robin are a part of. Oh, this is sick, bruh. Woo! Oh, I told you we were back, baby. I told you. This is sick. This is sick. This is sick. Okay, so Brooke cuts Robin's hair, and then we are introduced to a skull joke because Brooke says, though I don't have a heart to race, because he said his heart was racing after cutting a woman's hair, as this was his first time doing so. This is incredible. And then we have Vegapunk Lilith going, ha ha ha, you don't even have a heart? That's anti-science. Thank you. You know what was so weird about Egghead, and it kind of pissed me off, to be honest? We had 7 scientists, right? Smartest people in the world, all meeting Brooke. No one comments on how weird he is, that he's a living skeleton. Thank you, Lilith. Lilith is quickly proving to be the best Vegapunk, period. And then we have Bonnie here reacting to Robin's haircut, saying, you look adorable, Robin. She's joining the crew. Don't at me. She's joining the crew. This is the character interaction I was waiting for. She's joining the crew. I don't want to hear it. And she's in her little baby form. It's adorable. It's adorable. I love it. I love it. It's perfect. Nope. Join the crew. Based. Very cool. I love it. And then we see the girl. Her bangs are back. She thanks Brooke. Brooke is so glad he did a great job. And this is almost a full page spread of it. Or not a full page spread, but it's a big panel. I love it. It's great. It's great. And that's when Frankie is crying at the thought of Robin meeting up with Saul again. And that's what Brocky comments on it, that that's the hair you had with Saul. And that's the hairstyle that Ormond and Kashi remember. So yeah, Brooke got it right. The fact that Frankie is responding to Robin's haircut in this way, man, SBSs can get the boot. I'm telling you, there ain't no way that ain't her husband. And I don't ship, but there ain't no way. There ain't no way. I'm sorry, I can't. Ain't no way. Ain't no way Frankie and Robin don't have that bond. I'm sorry, it don't make sense. Jinbei don't even say anything important. It suits you perfectly. Nice work, Brooke. That's all he says. Frankie goes into full description of what it means for Robin, the memories that it brings back to him upon seeing the haircut, because he's seen her both as a child in the Warner poster when he was young. And of course, he spends the whole dual arc of Water 7 / NS Lobby with her. So yeah, he would have an emotional tie to this haircut. He's talking like a husband who sees the haircut that he's met his wife with for the first time in years. I know I'm rambling, but it just reads like that, bruh. It reads like that. It's so good. It's so good. But continuing, the island mist has cleared and the Straw Hat Team B are seeing the ELBAPH island in its full glory for the first time. And I've assumed Brocky and Dory are saying we'll toast as soon as we reach port. And somewhere, disaster strikes. As someone says, Saul has failed and he's not moving. He has fallen and he's not moving. What indeed has happened to Saul? Excellent chapter. Great chapter. Best chapter, maybe of the year. I don't know. It's close. The close for vibes. The close for feels. The closest for feels. Because, man, it feels like everything was in this chapter. You got the comedy. You got the skull. When was the last time we heard a skull joke? How long has it been? Brother, how long has it been, bruh? Immaculate. Simply immaculate. I loved every bit. Robin has returned to her pre-time skip glory. It is a great time to be a One Piece fan. I love it. I absolutely love it. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Paula Pete. What's it?